Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be doing my January wrap up, and then at the end, I'm gonna pick one or two books for my February TBR, two of them. So I was thinking this is the way I'll do my wrap ups. I'll probably combine them with my TBR. One, because I'm very much a mood reader, and so I don't fully like planning what books I'm gonna read. I like to just shut my book, go to my bookshelf, see what I want to read, and then that's what I read. So I'm picking two of them this month, and then also because I'm a slow reader, and so you'll see this month I read 4, which is even a lot for me. And so I don't want to pick like 4 books every month when I know I just don't realistically always get to 4. And so what I'll be doing is picking 1 or 2, and then I'll try to read those 1 or 2, and then that'll still give me space to hopefully mood read as well. Let's go ahead and get started with my wrap up. I do have some notes on the books I read this month so that I don't forget some stuff that I wanted to mention. So the first book I read was If He Had Been With Me, and I did it on my Kindle. So this is my Kindle. It just has a little yellow case, pink pop socket, and a sticker that says Madre. I do have the app as well on my phone, and so I was able to read it on there as well. I gave it 3.5 stars. And the reasons why are because I think the plot twist, it's given to you in the very first sentence. So it's not a plot twist. You're kind of expecting it the whole time. And I think that was done on purpose. Like, you're kind of seeing everything that's transgressing, and you know this specific thing is going to happen at the end. And so that kind of builds up the frustration, or maybe like the anticipation to see what's going to happen before this big plot twist. But personally, for me, I felt like if it had only been at the end and not said to you in the very first sentence, it probably would have hit me a little more, probably would have cried. But because I knew it was coming, I knew it from the very beginning, I think it almost built like too much frustration for me. I don't think miscommunication trope is for me. The whole time, they're both having these issues, and I just felt like, just talk to each other. And then in the back of my head, I'm like, plus I know this big thing is about to happen. And so I think it just built up too much frustration to the point where I was like, this is kind of dumb. Like, you guys are going so long with all this miscommunication that it just, by the end, I was like, had that been a plot twist, that would have been crazy. But because I knew, it was just like, you guys are annoying kind of thing. I still really liked it though. I wouldn't reread it, but I would recommend it. And so I still ended up giving it a 3.5 out of 5. I still did like it, just wasn't my favorite. The next book I read was A Court of Thorns and Roses, and I did a vlog on this. So if you want to see like my full thoughts, go check out my vlog. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. I loved it. And one of the main things I felt about this book was that maybe fantasy is more for me than I thought, because I think I mentioned it in the vlog too, but I think when you read like murder mysteries, it can be intimidating, the amount of violence or how gory the book can get, or just details about how things happen, because you know that it could happen in the real world. It's a fiction book, but like, you know it could happen. Whereas the amount of violence it had, and just like I don't want to give anything away, but like any tasks that were there, you knew the whole time that it was fake. And so like, I'm not scared that a big creature is going to show up and like try to torture me or something like that, you know? So it was just, I could just dive into the book, not think about like, could this really happen? Or is this kind of scary? Nothing like that. It was just the world of Fae. And so you get into the book as that, not thinking of your own world, you know? And then another thing I really liked was the fantasy aspect. Sarah J. Maas just detailed it so well, so that even though it's not the real world, and so even though you can't say, oh yeah, I know what this looks like, like in fiction books, they can say like a certain setting. Let's just say like an aquarium, right? And you can imagine an aquarium. Whereas this one, it's a fantasy world, and so like you can't fully just say one word and like this big image pops up. But she does such a great job at like describing the world, and so you can, with her description, just put pieces together and like really just imagine. And I'm sure it looks different for me than for other people. I personally don't have a very imaginative mind, and so for me it's like hard to make a picture in my head. But she has such great descriptions that like I have an idea of what I think the world of Fae looks like, you know. 5 out of 5. I really liked it. I'm hoping to get to the next book soon, but it's huge, so we'll see. The next book I read was Regretting You, and I did this one audiobook style. I downloaded it on my Kindle because if I have it on my Kindle, I'm able to read during my downtime at work. And the Kindle app ended up offering me an audiobook, and if you know from my January book tag, I want to try out more audiobooks. So I went ahead and listened to this one. I gave it a 2.5. So a couple reasons. Sister betrayal, not my thing. I'm very close to my sisters, and so it's very hard to like understand that, and it just kind of irritated me that a sister could do that. 2, miscommunication trope was annoying in this book in a different way. Not annoying, but just it didn't click with me in a different way. So in If He Had Been With Me, the miscommunication is between like the two main characters that the romance kind of revolves around, whereas this one, the miscommunication was between a mom and daughter. And so obviously you see like rebellion and just frustration and anger and stuff, and I was kind of feeling like you could just tell her. If you read it, you'll kind of understand more why it could just be like just explain what's going on. And then, as Colleen Hoover usually does, there was instant love. Their banter wasn't as great as I think other books can be. Like their banter was about, I mean, spoiler, but not really. One of their like little banter parts was about not liking the color orange. And I think it's like made to be like sweet and young, but it was just kind of like, okay, you know, like it just wasn't as interesting. So yeah, 2.5 out of 5. The next book I read was More Than Words, and I gave this one a 5 out of 5 stars. I absolutely loved this book. It picked up quickly. None of the story was like slow or like dragged out. It picked up quickly and it got right to like the story. It is sort of like childhood friends to lovers, but I do wish that she had kind of showed a little bit more of the childhood friends, because it's not a big book. And it's the same author as Mia Sheridan, and I think Archer's Voice was a little bit longer than this one. So I almost wish it was like that kind of length, just to show a little bit more of the childhood friends part, because the childhood friends part is literally the prologue. And it is like maybe like 5 pages, but it is just the prologue. It doesn't do like past or present, anything like that. It's pretty much just the prologue. That's where you get that they're childhood friends. And I wish it had shown a little bit more of childhood friends, because I think there was a part that ends up saying that they were friends for like a year. And the way I read it, I literally thought it was like 2 months, because it's so short, and like it doesn't really explain that they hung out for that long or like how close they got by the end. I mean, it kind of does, but it doesn't. So yeah, I wish the childhood friends part was longer, but that's just because I really liked that trope. One of the things I liked about this book was the little, not like subplots, but like there's so many hobbies featured in the book. So Callan is a musician. Jessica is really into history. Jessica's friend is into fashion, and Callan's friend is into building like internet websites. And so there's all these like little hobbies or interests that people like that like are just kind of sprinkled in everywhere. And I thought that was really cool to read about. The only thing I will say, something happens in the end that I felt like it was just not necessary at all. It was very cliche. I feel like a lot of romance books have this ending, and I didn't like it. I just wish it didn't have it. I don't think it needed it, honestly. But other than that, I really, really, really love this book. I would reread this book. I do want to reread it because I don't want to necessarily annotate it, but I want to like highlight my favorite quotes because there were so many quotes that just were so cute and sweet. But yeah, this was a great book, 5 out of 5. I really do recommend this book. I absolutely loved it. So those were my January books, and now I'm just gonna show you the 2 February TBR books that I picked. So one of them is From Blue Cove with Love, and I'm putting this one in my February TBR because I have already started it. I'm 76 pages in, and so I will give you my thoughts in my February wrap up. I am only 76 pages in, but I have quite a couple thoughts already. Want to get through it. I think it's like 500, yeah, it's 530 pages, so it's kind of a big book. But it also, okay, has anybody ever noticed this about this book? But like, it's a big thick book, but like it's also like a short, like do you guys see that? I don't know. When I was looking at it between my other books, I was like, wait, this is kind of like a stubby book, but maybe I'm tripping. Let me see. Yeah, it is. Like, it kind of, there's like that much off there and here. So like maybe it's not that much. I think it's just like it's printed short. But yes, I already have thoughts on it, but I will save those for my February wrap up. So that's why I'm putting it in there. I already started it. I want to finish it by this month. And then the next book I for sure want to get to this month is The No-Show, obviously, because it's a Valentine's Day book. So I want to read it for Valentine's Day. Probably not that specific day, but you know, just the vibes are in the air. You go to the stores and you see all the Valentine's decoration and all the candies and chocolates and roses. So I thought it'd be a great book to read and you're already in that atmosphere. So that's my January wrap up and my February TBR. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you read any of the books I read this month, let me know what you guys thought about them. And if you have read From Blue Cove with Love or The No-Show, let me know if you liked it. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.